Hello and welcome back to Making Sense of It All. This week, it's a big week. Not only do we have the Feast of Pentecost, we've also started going back to school. For a lot of people, there's a lot of mixed emotions because just like the disciples in that incredible story in the Acts of the Apostles, we've been locked in a room scared. Worried about going out, worried about seeing people, worried about what the effects of reintegrating with society are going to be. And this week, people are taking those first tentative steps out of their doors and reconnecting with the world outside them. And that world is a very different world, a world filled with strange things and different people and 2-metre distances. And it's so hard, but actually I think if we look at what the disciples did, I think we can find a way to make this work and to help us make sense of it all. The disciples were scared, that's why they were inside. And let's be honest, we're still worried. There are still things to be worried about and we're still worried about what's going to happen. We're still uncertain. I imagine going back to school over the next few days and weeks will be a scary thing, as well as an exciting thing, because we just don't know how it's going to work. For those incredible people working in our schools and working with young people, it's going to be scary having everyone coming back again. We are going to be scared, but we're not going to be alone. And that's the key. I think the disciples were most scared when they were in that room because they felt abandoned, they felt left, or they felt isolated, as we might have done over the last few weeks. And what God did was send the Holy Spirit. That Holy Spirit reminded them that God was with them and that they weren't on their own. Now, going back to school, stepping out of the house, going outside for the first time is a reminder of the same thing. We are not on our own. God is with us, the people around us are with us. And what the disciples were inspired to do by that confidence was to share the good news, to be joyful and happy. Pope Francis says that our church needs to be one that attracts people through being joyful and happy, not that kind of just tells people what to do or that goes around thinking it's better than everybody else. If we go into our schools and our communities, if we go into our world the same way the disciples did, by trying to be joyful and happy and finding things that are good, then actually what we will do is attract people to us and attract people back to community and togetherness again. Because that's what we're working for. That's what's worth saving. That's what's worth aiming for. We have been scared, but we're not on our own. And in this week of the Feast of Pentecost, where we're stepping out for the first time, let's just find joy in being together, however small or limited that may be, and let that joy grow into a confidence that helps us engage with the world again and come back to a future filled with hope and joy and love. Last night I had my family round for a social distance evening and it was brilliant. They were sat at the other end of the garden and we talked and it almost felt like normal. And what we didn't talk about were the things that were scaring us or the things that we were worried about. What we talked about was all the things we were looking forward to, all the things we were excited about, all the things that made us joyful and happy. There was a lot more laughter than there were sad times, and that's the point. The news we have to share is good news. And the God we have to share with people is a God of love. So fill your heart with goodness and happiness and love this week. Go out with confidence, and by doing so, give other people the confidence to go out into the world again, knowing that we're not on our own, and knowing that the Holy Spirit is with us in our lives. We'll see you soon.